Welcome to episode number 70 of the Keep Up podcast.
I think that was 7D.
That's the intro line?
That's the intro.
Okay. I'm glad. You want to introduce this one, or you want me to do
No,
it?
you're the pro. I'm not going to take
not
away
that
your
good.
thunder.
I spitball every time.
You're a good spitballer.
Here we are. This is going to be the closest thing we've ever had to like a Halloween episode.
You guys see the pumpkin in the video? It's
yeah.
I mean, our guest doesn't, so I apologize. He'll see it later. But.
That's true. And so we have a guest, a returning guest.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Edward Payson.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Stoked about you joining us. For anyone who doesn't know, Edward is a director responsible for films such as Unsigned, Cohasset Snuff Film, and most recently our Friend Jon, which we're going to be talking about. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Really, really busy. Actually, it's so funny because when we were setting up for this, I actually am talking to somebody else for a podcast literally right after I finish yours and doing another podcast. And then
Really?
Oh my God.
And then tomorrow I'm actually going on the biggest morning show in New Hampshire, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How'd you manage that magic?
That's a story in itself, man. But so you know how I have a lot of people. It's like the cliche story of, I went out west to follow my dreams of getting into film and television. Well,
Yeah.
I have a friend who went out west not for film and television but for radio. And he was actually my roommate for almost 3 years. And he basically, one day just got this phone call. He didn't know where the phone call was coming from or why he was getting it. But he got this phone call he didn't think much of. But it was a guy he met at a wedding that was just like, hey, man, we really like your stuff. We'd really love for you to send some stuff over. And this is like he went back to New Hampshire for a wedding when he's been living and working at K-Rock in Los Angeles for a few years. And
Oh, cool.
all of a sudden, this guy for Magic 104 in Conway, New Hampshire, basically was like, hey, so not only are we going to offer you a 5-day-a-week, 5-hour show where you're the main producer, main voice of the show, we're also going to pay.
That's intense.
Yeah. They were like, we're also going to pay for you to fly back here within 5 days. We need to know within 5 days if you want to do this, but we'll pay whatever you need to get out of your rent in California. We'll give you a company car. We'll give you your own apartment and pay the first 5 months, and we'll start you off at $120,000.
That's incredible.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In radio?
In radio. So basically.
Where do they get the money for this?
Yeah, and it sucks because, without me, talking shit about the guy's awesome, but,
Yeah.
he was busting his ass out here for K-Rock, which is, the biggest rock station, in the world.
Yeah.
And they were paying him, $10 an hour, where he was working at, another station, a smaller station, doing the same thing in Los Angeles, and for the same exact job, they were giving him close to $40 an hour. So it's
Whoa.
yeah, so, the discrepancies are just ridiculous because so many people want to work for K-Rock, they figure we can pay people whatever we want, and if they don't want it,
Right.
we'll just get someone else.
Right.
But yeah, no, this one
Wow.
was literally an offer he couldn't refuse. So one day he came over to, he watched our cats while we were out of town. He came back and was just like, actually, I'm leaving in 3 days. So he
Well,
actually gave me all his
nice knowing ya.
Blu-rays, all his DVDs, all his CDs, his TV, all this stuff that he just couldn't get rid of in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had me send some stuff back to him piecemeal through the mail.
Wow, that's
Jeez.
crazy. So it's his show that you're going on?
It's his
So
show.
is
we're
that
going
tomorrow?
on. Yeah. It's Gino and the Magic Morning Show, and they actually just won Best Morning Show in New Hampshire.
Wow, good
That's
for him.
incredible.
Yeah.
Good for you, too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah.
So
It's just a combination of all these things happening at once randomly. I think the last podcast I was on was probably yours. The last time I was on. Besides,
Oh, really? Yeah.
my own new one that I think we're going to talk about. But
Absolutely.
But yeah, just all happening within 2 days of each other is kind of weird.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really funny. It's got to feel nice to stay busy with that stuff, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about your new podcast, Horror Geeks. The Horror Geeks.
The
Is there
Horror Geeks, yeah, the Horror Geek
the
Cast.
Horror Geeks? How long have you been doing it now?
We just shot episode 12.
Okay.
And I think we're kind of doing stuff that's like not really like your typical podcasting, because it's more like the way I describe it anyway is like it's like the Daily Show for horror. Whereas
I totally agree. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like almost a variety show.
Yeah.
like we're not doing, a lot of people when they say like, oh, watch our podcast on YouTube, there's nothing wrong with it, but most people think like, okay, so they're just going to set up a camera and they're going to talk. But no, we actually have like skits and characters and reoccurring characters and different locations and weird stuff like that. So I think people have enjoyed it so far. We've got a lot of interest from some bigger companies, William Morris and stuff like that. We're interested in it, and we're seeing where that's going, because essentially where it started was a long time ago. Barry, kind of the person who made the whole thing up, a good friend of mine, we had a podcast called 1313 Blood Lane, which was essentially a horror podcast, but it was just audio. And then from that, he decided like, oh, visual medium is like a bigger thing, especially since I'm in film.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have like
Right.
a radio life or anything like that. So he decided to start this thing called the Geek Cast. And I originally was supposed to be in the original cast of this. This was actually a half-hour TV show.
Okay.
That he already made a pilot for and stuff that you can see on our regular YouTube page. But basically, he wanted me to be a part of that. But I was actually shooting our friend Jon while he was doing that pilot. So for the longest time, I wasn't a part of it. I helped shoot a few different things, but I wasn't like in front of the camera. But then, just a few weeks ago, actually, like I want to say like a month and a half ago, he got in touch with me and was like, hey, do you want to actually be in front of the camera? Do you want to talk? Do you want to co-host? Do you want to do all this kind of stuff? And it's been like, full speed ahead ever since.
That's so great. So it's you, and how many other people are involved?
So the main people, I'm not even one of the main hosts, honestly. I just I'm a reoccurring person. The main hosts are Barry Morgan and Andrew Marano. And basically,
Okay.
they are the Horror Geeks, but then it's kind of like we are like I come in and do a lot of like top 10s. I come in and do a lot of like what we call the bloody bonus, which is like half-hour conversations that are kind of on top of the regular podcast, where we like where we have like because our podcast is only a half hour, so it's on the short side as far as podcasts go. But
Right.
with our bloody bonuses, what we do is we expand upon whatever we talked about in that episode. So.
Oh, okay.
So,
So
like,
it's like
for
it's a
instance,
side
like-
episode, a separate episode.
Almost like a separate episode, yeah. I mean, it's just it's we have a Patreon as well, so we have people like subscribe to the Patreon for like $1 a month, and they get all the extra stuff like they get that. They get full like episodes that are just for Patreon subscribers and that kind of thing.
Cool.
So the last few episodes you can't see me really on YouTube, but the newest ones I'm actually prominently on YouTube, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we'll have links in the show notes and everything too for everyone to check those out. Does the Horror Geeks have its own YouTube channel, or what would people go to for that?
Yeah, it's just youtube.com/thehorrorgeeks.
Sweet.
And every Tuesday we come out with a new episode, all completely different. And rather than like the current stuff that's happening, it's kind of tackling an entire genre. So like besides our Friday the 13th one that we just did, which was just specifically about Friday the 13th, we kind of do like religion and horror, then like explore like all the different cultures and how religion has kind of influenced horror. Or we do like werewolves, but then we go for like from like the beginning of werewolf films to like where werewolf films are going today,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so neat.
That's really cool.
It sounds super interesting because you can take a subject and just work your way through it, talk about all the different movies, like werewolves specifically, like Underworld, because they have lichens, and it's a really cool concept that we're gonna steal now.
You can steal it if you want.
I definitely like that it's variety because it's strange, but I feel like, or maybe it's not strange, but just the way that media's gone and stuff, I feel like podcasting's still relatively new, and it's kind of a conversation we've had before, but so it's still something that can be played with a lot. Like I think there's still a lot to be discovered about it, especially like in the visual aspect of it, vodcasting and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So it's cool to see.
yeah, I totally agree. And Barry and all of us actually we're really influenced by like. Do you guys know who Lloyd Kaufman is?
Sounds familiar, but I don't.
All right.
Off
So,
the top of my head, I don't know.
so he's the head of Troma, which made like the Toxic Avenger,
Yep. Okay.
Poultrygeist, all those movies, and super like low budget director. But the thing that he did, which we think is genius, is before like the multi universes and all that kind of stuff. He's been doing that since like the early '80s. Like basically every Troma film takes place in Tromaville, which is like a fake town he set up to be like an all-encompassing horror town. So that's kind of where we kind of got the idea. And you can see that like in our podcast we have a character named Chase Conroy, who basically shows up in every episode. He has a new job that he's trying to like swindle you into hiring him for. And they're all horror related. Like in one episode he's like a sex therapist, and he actually encounters a guy who has like a demon inside of him, and unbeknownst to him he's like exorcising this demon from this person when he's supposed to be just having a sex therapist session. Or in another one he's selling properties like but they all happen to be like different horror properties, like the Friday the 13th house, or I'm sorry, the Halloween house, or yeah, that kind of stuff.
So what does production look like on like one episode of this? Because it sounds like a lot with the skits and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do 2 a day. 2 a day is just like what we've started to do now, just because. But we do every other week, 2 a day, and usually production starts at 9:30 a.m. and goes till about 3 to 5 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
but
lot
just
to
that
put in.
day, and
Yeah.
then we take a week off, and then wait until the next week.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good.
Yeah.
Are you doing the editing and whatnot as well?
No, that's all Barry. Barry's doing everything. I tried to get him to do Pluralize, but he hasn't heard of it either. So he's kind of doing everything by hand too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get on that.
Yeah, because that
It takes
sounds
a lot-
incredible.
a lot easier for us. Yeah, that's cool. So everyone needs to go check out the Horror Geeks. I know I have some catching up to do. I've only scoped out a little bit of it, but it looks great, like
Oh, thank you.
visually.
Yeah,
and,
like the what's
like
the word?
quality of it.
Yeah,
looks-
exactly.
Yeah. Like the quality and the fluidity of the episodes, like it's super engaging. And I like that it's a half hour. I mean, our podcasts are pretty long. Like,
We just like to
Dude,
talk.
I
but-
listen to your
yeah.
podcast all the time though, when I'm running, when I'm walking.
really.
Like, yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, it's funny because a lot of the podcasts I listen to are, between 1 and 2 hours.
Mhm. I personally like them long because if
Yeah.
you're engaged with the people talking, then
Mhm.
you're like, oh, I like hearing their voices. What are
Yeah.
they talking about this week? So
I guess the difference is like when something's shorter and there's a ton of episodes you're trying to catch up on, you can like blast through.
Oh
them.
yeah, it's 10
That's-
times easier.
It's like what I did with like Ash versus Evil Dead, which I
Mhm.
still need. Have you watched Ash versus Evil Dead at all, Edward?
Yeah, you know what? I really liked the first season. Didn't so much like the second season, but
I
I don't have stars
haven't
anymore. I kind of
finished
canceled my
2 yet.
stars package, so I haven't really caught up on
Okay.
it since then.
Yeah, I haven't finished season 2, but I loved season 1. I talked at length about it last year. I thought it was so funny, and they were just like so over the top with everything.
Yeah.
It was so good. So I'm trying to think. Tim, do you have anything before we go? We have a ton of movies to talk about.
That's true. So I just have a quick, stupid question if you guys want to bear with me.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, if the guest is okay with it, I suppose.
I'm
we'll-
totally
yeah,
fine with
you
it.
know, I mean, okay.
Tim just took his headphones off and walked away. I was like, "Where you go?"
That's my stupid question. How long can you guys
All
go
right, we're
without
back on.
me, the king of the show?
King of the show.
No, that's not what I am.
All right,
Okay,
what's your stupid question?
we're here in stupid questions. So, I like to think about the past,
Okay.
and my idea of the past is dating.
What are we talking about right now?
my
Like dating people?
No, dating dates like the fruit. No, dating people.
Well, I didn't know if you meant dating like years and time.
No, that's too complicated.
Okay, the past for you is dating.
Yes. Well, because it's different now.
I'm barely following you.
Because
but-
right now it's like internet dating and like you meet people over the
Oh, I
interwebs,
see.
and back in the day you had to use these things called pickup lines.
Okay.
So my stupid question is,
Yeah.
do pickup lines still work nowadays?
Ooh.
Can you walk up to some random lady and be like, "Hey, baby,
Is that-
nice eyes"? That's not a pickup line. I didn't have one off the top of my head, but
That's a great. I mean, I've been out of the game for a while.
Yeah, same
doesn't
here.
mean you still can't.
Dude, I haven't dated since before what's it called, Tinder and all that kind of stuff came into the world. It seems like it'd be just like super
Right.
easy, honestly. Like you wouldn't need to have a pickup line anymore.
Yeah.
That's true because you have the connection through, like, for instance,
Right,
Tinder. You
'cause-
just have the picture, and you're like, okay, I like him, I don't like him.
Right.
So-
So you've used it,
Yeah.
but I'm the same, Edward. I haven't. None of that was ever part of the game for me.
Okay, so
it was like,
so this is like a this is like a mentoring session. So you guys, as older daters who have dated in the past,
okay.
what method did you use to get your ladies?
What method? I mean, well, okay. I met Rachel just playing shows and stuff. I mean, we were just out,
Uh-huh.
and then we just became friends. And then
Is that how it works? You become friends before you get
That's-
married?
That was my story.
That's
but
not how it
there's-
works nowadays.
I mean, I don't know if we have time to go through the entire history of.
Let's start when you were born. Did you ever use a pickup line on her?
I mean,
Pickup line. Yeah, Brett went up to his lady now and was like, "Are you a beaver? 'Cause damn."
That's excellent.
that's a real good one.
Did you use that one, Edward? That sounds perfect.
No, I actually just heard it on a radio show literally yesterday, and I was like, "Oh,
Well,
that's pretty
good.
nice."
Good on
I
them.
think
That's
I,
a good-
I think
see,
I
they
messed
must-
it up anyway. I think it's actually "Were your parents beavers? Because damn."
Oh,
Because
that's
they built
they,
the
They
lady.
made it right. Let's not dissect it.
I'm
till
just
it has
saying,
no
some
oomph
people
anymore.
don't know what beavers do.
Right? Really?
I don't know.
That's. I mean,
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
yeah.
So,
well,
Edward,
Yeah.
did you ever use one at all?
Have
Ever
I
in your
ever
life?
used a pickup line? No.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because even though I had, growing up, I was like a football player. Brett knew me. I think you knew my girl in high school too. Maybe.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, I never did because most of the time I would only go out with girls that were already interested in me first. I wouldn't be one to really
Okay.
pursue girls that only I was interested in because I didn't have that
Mhm.
much confidence, even though I was on the football team and all this.
Right, you had all the right things, the right ticks on the chart.
Yeah,
What does
I
that
mean, and
mean?
also,
Football player.
you say
Oh,
that,
I
but
see, I
also
see.
like I until like the 6th grade, I was always like 60 pounds overweight, and then I had a growth spurt.
I'm with you there.
Then I had a growth spurt between like 6th grade and I want to say 11th grade where I had like an 8-pack and I didn't know how to deal with it.
Jeez.
It was like going from like driving like a minivan to like a Corvette or something like that. You're like, oh,
What's going on? It's too much.
you're like
Too much
constantly
to handle.
second guessing yourself and like, oh no, she's not gonna be interested in that.
Yeah, there's no way. That's funny to think about, to go from each side of the spectrum of attractiveness. It's an interesting concept because, you have the confidence of someone who's like, like overweight or just doesn't have any luck with the ladies, to someone who like,
Hey, look with the lady.
hey, that's how I say it.
I know it is.
So that's very interesting to think that, like, even though you had the body, you still didn't have the
that
mind.
mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I'd ever fall into that. I know I'm sexy now, but
Right.
there's
yeah,
more.
yeah.
There's a little more I could work on.
Well, I think that's an
always
interesting.
because you always feel like then that it's something better. Like when I graduated college and was out here, my confidence was at like an all-time high because I was kind of doing what I loved and making movies
Yeah.
and stuff. So I had my own apartment and stuff like that. So I feel like I had something to offer. Whereas you kind of I did anyway. Like in high school and even in college, you'd like what do I have to offer that the next person doesn't have to offer? And a lot of the times you can't answer that question.
Sure.
Right, because I mean you're still in high school. Like there's not much you can do.
But everyone's thinking that. Which
Oh,
you,
yeah.
I feel like you don't know until
Yeah.
later,
Right, until
you know?
later, and you're like,
It's
oh,
such a
I
funny
could have
thing.
said anything to that girl and nothing would have happened. You know?
Yeah, it's funny too because like I didn't realize it, but I think you just put it into words where I wouldn't really pursue, like I wouldn't use pickup lines or anything because I didn't have that kind of confidence.
Mhm.
It would be like we would be friends first,
Right.
and then I would be like, "Oh, I like you." Do you like me too? Or circle yes or no. That was,
Instead of that nice letter.
yeah, I actually sent one of those once.
A yes or no.
Yeah, I was
Do you
in
like me?
second grade, but I literally
Second grade.
yeah, but I really sent one.
Wow, that's confidence right
I think
there.
she circled yes.
And then
We never talked. I was scared of that.
oh,
In second grade,
I'm sorry.
I sent a Valentine out, but one girl who I really liked in the second grade, I sent out 2 Valentines to, thinking like,
Oh.
she'll know that it's never heard a word from her.
two.
Aw,
Oh,
come
Never said
on.
anything, so
Man.
Aw.
That's heartbreaking.
That's the clearest signal you can send in second grade is 2 Valentines.
I may be able to top that. In second grade,
Yeah.
everyone was supposed to get a partner. Like a boy was supposed to partner with a girl to get to send a Valentine to each other.
Whoa.
I know it was intense.
That's advanced.
I got paired with a teacher.
So
I got awesome stuff because she
she hooked it up.
she brought like a whole thing of chocolate. I was like, deal.
What?
But it broke my heart because I was like, that's all I get was the teacher. Because I don't know if I was sick or you had to pick your like partner to send it to or whatever. I don't remember how the situation was, but yeah, I was a little upset.
So you got paired with the teacher.
Yeah.
So
But
it wasn't
there's-
like that's
That's a dream for some people.
Well,
But
I was gonna say like some people that's the thing.
yeah, but she was like 80 and
Okay.
and I was in second grade,
All
so
right,
she was
yeah.
probably only 20, but
Right.
You
I'm
know.
sure she could have been 80.
she
I
could
don't
have
know.
been.
What
Yep.
was that? Second grade?
Second grade.
Okay.
You can ask Omar. He knows.
Here's the other thing about pickup lines.
Yes.
I feel like I don't know if they would work because they're expected at this point. Maybe there was a time where
Right,
pickup
like-
lines were like unique.
Are they?
Now I feel like they'd have to be ironic.
Yes. What
Like
about
the beaver one?
Yeah.
If I walked up and said that to a girl and it made her laugh,
Right.
it might work.
That you would have to use it ironically, but there are some out there that are name specific that are pretty clever.
What do you mean?
Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna butcher this one. I don't even want to say it.
I am terrified and excited.
If I had 5 cents for every cute girl I see, I'd have a Nicole because that's for and it's
Oh
like a play
my
on words for
gosh.
nickel. I don't know.
So what is that? So you
That-
have to know her name? It's like next level.
Yeah, it's so I think that's where they've gone to the point where you have to get like name specific where it'll actually work. But it's hard on a internet spectrum because you don't have like the inflections. They don't know how you're gonna say it, so you just send it, and they like could roll their eyes. They could do whatever.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know that I would do like Edward, would you feel like intimidated doing internet dating at this point?
I mean, like I said, I've never done an internet date. The closest I could say,
Yeah, me neither.
actually, my fiance now, I didn't even know she existed for like 2 years. So basically, my fiance's sister was out here before her, and I knew her.
Okay.
I knew her sister for over a year because her sister's boyfriend and I worked at a job that we actually both got laid off from. So then we ended up working together a lot on different film projects. And actually, he was the DP for our friend Jon and stuff, which we'll talk about later. But
Cool.
But basically, like I didn't know she existed, and then one day, one of those like Facebook memory things popped up, and her sister Jamie posted like, "Hey, check this out. This is me and my sister back in like 2003." And I was like, "Yo, Jamie, your sister's really hot. You should introduce us." Just fooling around, fooling around.
Yeah.
And then she comes out here. She's like, "Oh, she's coming out here to live. I'll introduce you. I can't promise she'll be interested, but I'll introduce you." And
Mhm.
so I come out. She comes out here, and like 3 days after her being here, I got interviewed, or I got invited to this screening for this documentary, and it was supposed to be James and Jamie, which is her sister. James couldn't
Mhm.
go, so I had this extra ticket. So it was just me, Jamie, and Chelsea. And that night, like the weirdest thing, it was almost like she was like the guy in the situation. If that makes sense. She was like, so Ted, are you coming over to have some dinner? I was like, and it's like, oh,
You know,
sure.
Sure, I
that's
guess.
great. That's what you want, is the girl to be
Is it?
forward.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it goes even
I mean,
more
you
forward than that. Like the story is actually pretty funny, man. If you want to get into it,
We got time.
yeah, it literally was like what the typical like what a dude would do in this situation. So our first actual date ended up being like 2 weeks later, after she had already stood me up for what was supposed to be our first date.
wow.
Nice.
And actually, like ironically, the date was supposed to be where she is now the general manager. But
Oh no.
she had nothing to do with the place at the time.
Oh, at the time, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, she was supposed to. We were supposed to go to a comedy club to go see a comedy show. I didn't hear from her. Didn't hear from her. We had plans, so I go in, and I went to this freaking comedy show by myself, and the whole time I'm fuming mad, just like I can't believe she stood me up. What a bitch! Like all this stuff. And then because it was my friend's show, so I had to go anyway. So then I leave, and later that night I actually get a call from her. She's like, I'm so sorry. I lost my phone over the weekend, and I don't have a car, so I had to wait until my sister was available, and I had to go get a new phone because I had no way to contact
Oh, that
anybody.
sounds like a lot of excuses.
Yeah. That's what I thought at first, too. But then I was like, okay, well, let me try this one more time. She had just got a promotion at the job she was at then, so she was like, oh, let's celebrate. I got a new job or whatever. I don't really know anybody out here. Let's celebrate. So like, okay, well, at this point I was like, I had told you that I had been like laid off. So at this point I only had like unemployment and a few gigs here and there that I was doing. So I was like, oh, I only have like some wine and cheese, and I don't really have money, but we can like be at my house and like eat some wine and cheese or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, sure,
like a great
that
date.
sounds fine. So we get there, and actually she watches my movie Unsigned first, and she really likes it, but we're just talking through the entire thing, and before we knew it, like, we had gone through an entire bottle of wine in a 6-pack that I already had in the fridge, and I was like, okay, well, if you want to watch another movie or something, we can do that. She's like, wait a second, I have to go make a phone call. So she goes, for whatever reason, she goes outside to make the phone call. So already I'm like, what is going on here? And I'll get back to that later. So she comes inside.
Oh God.
She comes inside and she's like, oh, well, it's really late now, and we've both been having some stuff to drink. Maybe I should just sleep over. So I was like, oh, okay. Being like a gentleman, I was like, okay, let me get you some blankets and stuff like that. You can change in my room. I have like a big t-shirt or something you can change in my room. So I go and brush my teeth, and I'm getting like all the linens and stuff. And I walk in the room, and she's completely naked on my bed.
Oh God.
She's like, I couldn't find the t-shirt. What should I do? Like trying to be cute and stuff.
Oh my God.
But at this point, I'm so drunk that I'm not picking up on the fact that she is playing like a game or something like that. So I'm like, oh God, let me go. Here's a t-shirt. And I gave it to her. And,
put your clothes back on. I'll find you something. Don't worry about it.
I was like, if you need anything else, I'll be on the couch. I go and like lay on the couch, and like literally like it takes me 30 seconds to be like, oh wait. And then I walk in the room, and then we've been inseparable ever since that night.
Well, that's that's a great story. That sounds almost like a movie. Like
it does a little bit.
It's wow. That's hilarious.
That's really funny.
Yeah. And
Shoot.
The craziest thing was the next day, like, I had a shoot, and I had to get up super early, but we were both like super hungover. So she actually like, I literally just left her sleeping in my bed, essentially a stranger at this point, and then left the house.
You're just like, good luck.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And when I came back,
Well, it sounds
from the
like
shoot,
everything
she was
worked
still
out.
in my bed.
Wow.
So she got to rest up.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
good.
"Gotcha,
At
bitch."
least one of you did. Oh, it's so
Oh.
funny, dude. Okay, I
Yeah.
do want to go into movies, but
Mhm.
before we go into movies, you had a story, Edward, about People's Court, and that's all I know is that it's about People's Court, and I'm very intrigued.
I really want to hear People's Court.
Dude, so this,
okay, well,
this
yeah,
story,
let's start it.
This story, I was like, honestly, for the longest time, I was kind of skeptical about even telling anybody it was happening. Like, I swore to Chelsea that I wasn't going to watch it when it went on TV and stuff, because it just caused me like such huge and utter anxiety to the point where like it like kept me up at night. It kept her up at night. Like, it was actually a pretty serious story, and the show kind of like didn't even like really touch the surface of what actually happened.
This was recent, right?
Very recent, yeah. We went on the show on, I want to say, May 4th, and then it aired. It aired on the 23rd of September or 22nd of September.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
But I'll get into the story if you want to.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. So I do like so besides doing like horror movies and that kind of stuff, I do a lot of commercials. And I get hired for everything and anything video related by people from both locally and then all over the world. So one day I was just on Facebook and I get a message from someone saying, "Hey, I like your stuff. I'd really like you to do a project for me." It was this girl, Candace, and I really didn't know what was going on, but essentially she had just searched director on Facebook and saw that we had mutual friends like under occupation, and then basically like I was the first person to show up. She looked at my stuff and was like, "Oh, this person could direct this. Awesome." So that was already like a weird part of the whole thing. And that's like red flag number one. It's like you're hiring someone off of Facebook you've never met before. But so I see what they're trying to do. Basically, what they're trying to do is a PSA, and the PSA is also going to be like a short film, and they need a director for it. So I then actually meet this woman, Antoinette, who is the actual person that was doing the thing, not just the producer for it. And we hit it off right away. She seems like a really nice person. She loves my work. And she's like, "Okay, so you're going to do this for $1,000. That's awesome. Directing the thing for $1,000. This is the date we're doing it." So we scheduled to do the date. And I think everything's hunky-dory. 2 days before the actual shoot date, she sends an email to everybody involved in the project basically saying, "My doctors say I'm not well enough to do this project right now. My mental health is taking a toll on my mental health. It's canceled indefinitely," and all this stuff. And I was just like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, that is so strange.
So 2 days later, when we were supposed to be shooting, she contacts me and basically sets up a new thing where she wants me to produce and pretty much do everything for the film for an extra $1,000. So it would now be $2,000. And that would just make it so she just has to act, doesn't have to worry about hiring actors, doesn't have to worry about like the scheduling, doesn't have to worry about ADing, anything like that. So I was like, sure, yeah, no, I'll do that for sure. So the shoot date comes around. I should say that I hired 2 actors because 2 of her actors didn't want to do it because they felt like they were like jerked around and weren't able to make the new dates and all that kind of stuff. And they were mad because they canceled work and then last minute were told that they weren't shooting.
Right, for the original shoot date?
Yeah, for the original one, I guess like a few of the people weren't told until the morning of that we weren't shooting.
It sounds like a mess already.
Yeah, so anyway, so that should have been like the whole mental health thing should have been like red flag number 2. But me being like, oh, she's paying me money. She's already given me a down payment. I need to do this project. I was like, I'm going to make this project the best it can be. So we shoot the project. And while we're shooting it, she's saying like, "Edward, I saw all your stuff. it's so good. Like, you're gonna be the only director I use from now on. Like, I hope you can do some stuff for my reel. I hope you can work on my next project. Can you
That
do
all
more
sounds good.
Yeah, it all sounds good. She's like, can you do more than one project at once? I'd love to get talking about this other project. And then the weirdness starts to happen. So we finish the project. Everybody's in super high spirits. I take a week and edit the project, send it to her. She immediately says, like, oh, this is great. It's sad at times. It's cute at times. It's happy at times. If you know of any film festivals you'd like to submit to, let me know. I want to send it to a bunch of PSA festivals and that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, no, I mean, that's great. I'd love, like, if the thing's ready to go, do you mind if I post it on Facebook for people to see? And or on social media for people to see, and she's like, yeah, please go ahead right away. So, I thought everything was, like, good to go. Literally that same night, I get this very strange email at, like, 5:30 in the morning. And it's just, like, supposedly, and I'm doing air quotes, you can't see me on your side, but I'm doing air quotes, supposedly for her lawyer, that says, like, before I send Edward the demand letter, I'm going to get an accounting of everything that he spent money on before I get all my money back. And
What the heck?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm thinking
That's,
to myself,
like, creepy.
I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what could she possibly think is going on here? I think it's a misunderstanding, or maybe it's another Edward, maybe it's the wrong person. Like, I don't know what's going on. So
Right.
I send her an email back, very, very nice, saying, hey, so what is going on here? I think you were meant to send this to somebody named Peter or something like that, but is there a problem with the project? She's like, there's no problem if you can tell me what you did with $1,300 of my money. And I'm like, what?
What?
The contract is that I get paid $2,000. What are you talking about? She responds back with an 8-paragraph, not even kidding you, 8-paragraph email in which she says things along the lines, like, she starts getting, like, super, super mean, using F-bombs, basically saying, like, you don't want to know what happens when people don't have things done, don't figure things out civilly with me. You'll be lucky if I send my N-words from Compton to your house in the middle of the night. And
Oh my God!
What?
Yeah, in the middle of the night, because they'll actually kindly ask you where you put my money before shooting, but my N-words from Compton will shoot first, ask questions last.
Yo,
Like,
what
so
happened?
at this point, I'm like, and this is like, but she did this, like, before I could even respond to, like, 3 more emails that she'd sent in between the, like, where's my $1,300? She sent 3 more emails, but that I didn't even respond to yet, because it was, like, within like 5 minutes of each other, and then sent this 8-paragraph thing. Not only did she say that she was going to send people to my house, she put YouTube links of said people doing gangster stuff in the email. And then at the end said, but I look forward to working this out civilly. So, of course, immediately I'm like, okay, let me take this email and bring it to the police station.
Yeah.
So I did that, and basically that one last line was the only thing that they said wasn't going to charge her with criminal, what is it?
Is it like an endangerment or a threat?
Not criminal intimidation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
just because that
when he said,
last
"But I
line
look
was
forward
there.
to doing this civilly." So I just
Wow.
wanted it on record that was happening, and I told her, I was like, "I've now made a police report," and she just, like, tried to, like, laugh in my face and basically be like, "Huh, you know what? Here's the small claims case court case. Here's where I reported you to the DGA, the Directors Guild of America. Here's where I reported you to Facebook. Here's where I reported you to Yelp." All this different stuff.
God.
That's crazy.
And so I see that she actually has a court date. And not only is there a court date, the court date now says that she's going after $1,800. Some arbitrary number, no reason for any
Right.
of this, like $1,800, right?
Yeah.
What the heck?
So I think she thought she'd, like, call my bluff. And I was like, all right, we're going to court. I have a contract. I have everything. We're going to court.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you do at that point?
Yeah. So she basically, like, I guess she gets in contact with the people's court knowing that she's going to lose. Usually when people know they're going to lose, they go on the people's court. So you get, like, possibly, like, sway the judge and get, like, an appearance fee and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of. I had a friend who went on. I think it was like Judge Judy or something, and they pay out something to both parties in some cases. Like it
Yeah,
kind of
this one they
evens
don't
out.
do that. This is actually one of
Yeah.
the cheaper of the things. They do fly you
Okay.
out there because it's all the way in Connecticut.
Mhm. Oh wow.
Wow.
So they flew me all the way to Connecticut. In the morning, we had the case at 9 a.m. I won in 7 minutes. And then they flew me back at noon, and I was back in my house by like 3:30 my time the next day.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Basically, like, the
useless.
judge kept just being like, "Why are we here?" She tried
Right.
To say,
That's
Yeah.
like
she tried to say that, like, I didn't edit the project good, but she never mentioned anything bad with the editing and never anywhere, like, said anything about the editing to me.
Yeah. I mean, didn't
and
you
then
have
tried
like
to say,
positive
like-
correspondence?
Then tried to say, like, I owed her money because she gave me full control on the contract over the project.
Right.
And then tried to say, like, I didn't like what he did with full control. It's like, lady, you can't give him full control and then be mad about it.
Then charge him money for taking full
But she
control.
tried to be like the actors didn't get paid and all this stuff. And the judge was like, when was the last time you talked to the actors? And she was like, about a month and a half ago. And I had like all the receipts of the actors being paid. And then at the end,
Yep.
how you do the walkout, and they're like, "Do you think this is fair?" and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
During that thing, she said she didn't even watch the film.
What?
Wow. I want to see this
She
episode
said,
real
"Well, I
bad.
didn't watch
Seriously.
it. Well, I didn't watch it.
What?
What? You just had a whole case about watching it and the problems with it."
And like, what was her motivation this entire time? Like,
I honestly think it was just extortion. Honestly, she wanted a free
Yeah.
film. She wanted a free film. Either that, or she's just really mentally unwell. But like, just thank God that I had like a contract. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
no
I've had
joke.
You
bad-
had all that, you know.
I've had bad clients in the past, but like, no
yeah,
one that's ever tried to like sue me or threaten to send people to my home.
yeah. And
you
like
know?
to switch it up, like from being like, "Oh, you did a great job," to all of a sudden threatening to send like an entire crew to your house. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, in less than
that's-
2
that's
days that
scary.
was too.
right.
I have
That's
a feeling.
scary.
I have a feeling that like she showed it to somebody. Whoever she showed it to didn't like it, so she just completely changed her opinion on it.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
Because like what she doesn't understand, like she got this random guy who said he was an editor to like come
Yeah.
with her on the show.
Okay.
Like, I don't think she relayed the information because PSAs are so old school. I
Mhm.
tried
Yeah.
to make it look old school, so I like added scratches. I added like dust, like you'd
Yeah,
see
yeah.
in an old like 1950s film if you try to watch it right now.
Okay.
I think that like he thought that that's just how it came out of camera
Oh my
because
god.
he said stuff like it's just unfixable, no fixing, unfixable beyond repair and stuff like that. It's like, are you an absolute moron? Like.
You just click a different filter like it's nothing.
Exactly. I was like, no, the whole thing was shot in 4K, completely
Mm-hmm.
clear, like everything's good, but you gave me final edit. You
right.
signed a contract that gave me final edit of this thing. So I don't
Oh
know
my
what you want from
God.
me.
Dude, I gotta say too, like I love on those court shows the secondary people who are sitting there the whole time, and
Mhm.
when they're finally introduced, they have like no idea. It's like, oh, this is my cousin that I used to live with, and he saw me do a thing once, and then they ask me questions,
They
and
like,
then
have nothing to do with it. And then even
Yeah,
after the
they're
court
like-
case, she tried to say that I owed her a hard drive with all the footage. It's like, no, you pay for a
They're
hard
like-
drive. I'll send you all your stupid footage. I've already removed
Yeah.
myself from IMDb and everything like that. Like,
Oh man.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
but like some of the
frustrating.
points she was making, I had to correct her in the court case because she tried to be like $450 for 2 poster designs. That is way too much money. I was like, no, that's friend prices. I was like, my
Oh,
last
man.
poster for my last movie cost £4,000.
Jeez.
Crazy. And yeah, so she has like, I mean, from start to finish, she has no idea what she's talking about. It literally sounds like she tried to get something out of you, and then it just went too far, and
Yep.
she just got lost in it.
Mhm.
Did you watch the episode?
Yeah, I ended up watching the episode, and again, like it just gave me like such anxiety because it was like all I was thinking about for the longest time. This lady was emailing
Right.
me like before the thing started. She was emailing me multiple times a day, multiple times a week.
Man,
That's scary, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
is she gone now? Like, is
Yeah, she left you alone since
out of the
then.
picture?
Dude, so as of 3 weeks ago, she had some like flunky of hers email me and try to get a hard drive with all the footage. I was like, if you send me a hard drive, I will put the stuff on it and send it to you, no questions asked. But I'm not buying a hard drive with the money that was supposed to be mine to send you something that I'm no longer a part of because I had to, remove myself from it because you took me to court and lost.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
I'm not like a
Wow.
monster. Like it's a project. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, I got paid for the project, but the project, like, I'm going strictly by the contract where you gave me final cut. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do with this thing. If you're gonna have that idiot who you brought to court edit it, like, it's definitely not gonna be good.
Right. Seriously. Oh, man.
I really want to see that episode.
Yeah. Is it on
You
YouTube
probably
or?
can on YouTube if you look up People's Court, September 22nd, I believe.
Oh yeah, we have the date. I'm writing
You
it
can
down.
probably,
Yeah.
you
I
can
gotta
probably
find
see
it.
it.
Dude,
They
I'm
take it
sorry that
down
was
all
such a
the time,
disaster
though, so
for
if
you.
you find one, you have to watch it quick.
So did they covered everything for you? Like, was it for $2,000 that you won?
So I already had
Like,
been
was it-
paid. That's the thing. I had already been paid.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
So then I got a $250 on top of that from the show, and she got nothing.
That's excellent.
All's well that ends well.
Yep.
That's great.
But dude, I totally
Um,
thought that I was like being set up to lose because when you go there, they make it like super weird. Like they rush you in with like umbrellas surrounding you so no one can see who you are, and they put like
Really?
all the defendants of the day's shows in one room, which is like 3 different cases. And then they put all the people, all the prosecution on the other side, and they put me in there with like 2 of the other people were like people with face tattoos from Florida,
Okay.
straight up like gang tattoos on their foreheads and stuff.
Oh man.
And
So
the
you were
first
just
thing
in
one
a...
person says, first thing someone says is, "Motherfucker, I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to get that bitch's autograph." Talking about the judge.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
To each his own. We all have our own motivations.
Yeah.
As long as he gets that autograph. Shoot, that's incredible. Yeah, that did not sound like you were on the right side of things.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, they're setting me up.
So great.
Crap, that's hilarious.
That's so good.
You guys want to go into movies?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go to the movies.
I'm glad you're consistent.
Consistency is...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
You ready?
Oh, girl, was I born ready?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about in movies, so let's do that.
Oh, guess we don't have a bunch of stuff to talk about in movies.
No, I mean we do.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, brown out. Oh no, brown out. Okay.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet.
That's an interesting sentence. How about the brown fox jumped over the... There's one that has every letter in the alphabet.
What?
It's like the brown fox jumped over the lazy
Susan?
log or something.
What are you talking about? I've never
There's-
heard of that.
There's a sentence that has every letter of the English alphabet in it. And that's... I don't know if it's like the brown fox jumped over the lazy log. I mean, I don't know.
The brown fox jumped over the lazy log.
I don't know if that's it, but it uses all the letters.
I hate this sentence.
You guys will know.
I don't know if they'll know.
The
I don't like that
listeners.
we're wearing.
What was that?
We're wearing red and orange.
What was that sentence?
I don't like that we're wearing red and orange.
Why?
I don't know. It's harsh on the eyes.
Well, I don't like how Count Chocula's on that shirt, but
Why not? Count Chocula's. Who's your favorite vampire?
Edward.
Edward Cullen.
No, I'm talking about you, Edward. We all know.
We assume. Yeah. What's I just got hit with my own question in my head. Favorite vampire?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's got to be.
Edward, you got one?
My favorite vampire?
Yeah.
Have to be Blade, probably.
Oh, that's what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
Blade's good.
I think it's.
What
Blade.
about
I think it's
Selena
everybody's
from
favorite
Underworld?
vampire.
Well, he's half vampire,
It's
isn't
not
he?
Selena.
What's her name?
I think it's Celine
Selena is Selena.
from Underworld.
Yeah.
Selena's like the singer. I don't think her name.
was
That
a
would be an
vampire
interesting
as well.
movie.
She may also have been a vampire.
That's pretty clever.
But I think Blade's kind of the jam.
But isn't he half vampire?
I mean,
So does that count if
he's
you're
like
half
all
vampire?
vampire, all man.
What about
All of
Salma
their-
Hayek? Salma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Blade is half. Just to clarify, just wanted you to know.
Yeah.
But all their strengths, none of their weaknesses, man. That's
That's
a good vampire.
It is a good vampire.
He's
but
not Salma Hayek, but
Yeah.
that's one of his weaknesses.
What if? No, I got nothing. I can't.
Okay, wait, no, I want to bring this back. We
Uh-huh.
mentioned, I forget what episode it was, but Edward, we were trying to nail down the worst horror movie we've ever seen.
Mm.
Oh, Troll
And-
2.
Troll 2
Really?
is pretty bad.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's like, it's bad.
Why is it so bad?
Because they took it seriously. They tried to make a serious movie, and it's like it's so bad.
So that's the worst you've ever seen?
I mean, there's
I don't
one. I
know.
mean, like, there's when people say worst you've ever seen. Obviously, like anybody can say, like, oh, I saw this super low budget one that was terrible. But
Right.
I feel like there's different like categories. That had like a,
Right.
a
Sure.
moderate budget and was terrible. Whereas
Right.
like
It wasn't like a B horror. Like it wasn't trying to be
Right.
a goofy horror movie.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is like there are movies that are bad, but you can enjoy watching them.
Yeah.
But like, I think mine is House of the Dead. I think that's one of the worst
oh,
movies
it's
I've
really
ever seen.
bad.
It is so bad, and
Mhm.
it was the kind of bad where like like at the end of it, I was mad at myself for watching it.
That you sat
Like
all the
I
way
was
through it.
I was mad at the director. I was
Mhm.
mad at everyone involved. I was mad at every scene that I saw like 3 times because they just kept playing them over and over again. There's probably like 20 minutes worth of footage in that hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
It drives me
New
crazy.
footage, anyways.
You've
so
you know
bad.
who the director is, right?
Is that Uwe Boll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that
yeah.
I mean
he's
that.
known as the worst director of all time, so there's it's
Yeah.
with good reason.
Right.
Absolutely.
I can't understand his career or like I don't know anything about him as a person.
I remember he tried to fight, like box. Was it producers or directors or something?
What?
It was
He,
critics.
like, they
It
were
was
critics, yeah.
of his movies. And he
You-
used to be
you
a
wanted to
professional
fight them?
boxer.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So he challenged them to fight and be like, "No, my movies are good. Let's duke it out."
So that's the thing, and I kind of feel bad saying this about another man's work, but it's
Mhm.
like, does he think they're good?
No,
I doubt it.
that's the thing.
He doesn't.
He said that he found a loophole. Like the movie The Producers, where they like found a loophole if they make a flop, they can make more money. He found that
Yeah.
loophole,
And he's just
and he's
living
just
the dream.
exploiting it over and over and over again.
Wow, it is insane, man.
It's
Like,
crazy the licenses he gets though.
that's
Like
that's the thing that blows my mind.
like Alone in the Dark, he did.
Blood Rain.
Oh my God, he did.
Blood
do
Rain was so.
Yeah.
Blood Rain was literally worse than like a softcore porn. Acting.
I don't even think I saw it.
No, I
I
didn't.
saw Alone in the Dark. It's atrocious.
Yeah, that's
And,
like
um,
abysmal.
But House of the Dead is like, I can't believe it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And
He just puts
I-
like mostly video game footage throughout the movie.
What's that?
He just like puts video game footage throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every transition is like a transition from the game, and then there's just this montage sequence that just blows my mind. I can't believe it's real. It's just like it's literally like 15 scenes, like cut shots edited together faster and faster for like 15 minutes.
Why?
It's I don't know, just to take up space. It's like it's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the worst horror movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I gotta think about it, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of low budget films that were bad, but dude,
Yeah,
someone who I can definitely
you're-
say who I thought had some really bad movies was M. Night Shyamalan, but he's kind of redeemed
Yeah.
himself at this point.
Oh my
Yes,
God, he
I
came
agree.
back
He came
with-
back pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh, punched the headphones.
Yeah,
Um,
punch that. headphones.
Yeah, I can't. His like middle portion, like Sixth Sense, like his early stuff, Signs, really good, and then he has this like middle
That's
portion.
not middle.
What?
Oh, okay.
Well, Signs is like right at the end, I think, because then
at the end of the beginning.
what? Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you both this: how
Uh-huh.
did you feel about The Village? A lot of people are torn on The Village.
The Village I didn't mind, man. I mean,
It was okay.
I didn't either. I thought atmospherically it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like this creepy vibe about it. And I did not like that one, but I feel like that's where the audience started tearing into.
Yeah, that's really it. And then what was the next one? The Happening,
that was
Happening
the one.
Horrible.
which is funny because I remember enjoying it. I saw it in the theater, but then again, I was younger at that point and I didn't appreciate
Well,
film like I do now. But
I think you guys can chime in on this, but I think that's when people started being like, okay, the twists are getting stupid.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I remember hearing that at the Village. Like people were like, "It's a gimmick at this
That
point."
one, it was, but I still felt like that one was pretty cool.
It was cool. It was
Yeah.
really neat because, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it's super interesting.
But then Airbender happened. And,
I actually never saw that.
you
I
didn't?
Well, I saw the original series. I didn't want to
Okay.
taint anything
Did,
else. So.
did you see it, Edward?
Airbender, no, but I heard just horrible things about it. I did see the one with Will Smith, which was just horrible.
Oh, After Earth, I think was the name of that one. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't see that.
I skipped that one too. I heard that one was
Oh,
bad.
that was Shyamalan too.
Mhm.
That's right.
But they like didn't really put his name on
Right.
it. They were trying to like keep him in the
I
shadows.
totally forgot
It
about
became
that.
a
Yep.
non-selling point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he did have a rough patch there, huh?
Yep.
I literally forgot that had anything to
Lady
do with
in the
him.
Water.
Airbender. Oh, see, I get.
Brett likes
I
that
really
one.
like Lady in the Water. But like, no, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I really liked it when I saw it. I love Bryce Dallas Howard. I thought like the story aspect of it was cool. But that's another one that I know some people liked it. A lot of people were like, ugh.
Yep. Get it out of here.
He did Devil too,
fair.
right?
Oh, the elevator one.
The elevator one.
Oh yeah.
Or
I
did he
never
just
saw
produce
that one.
I'm
How
not
was
sure if
that?
he directed or just produced it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know his name's on there somewhere. I think that one. I remember seeing that one and it was okay. It definitely wasn't the caliber of like Signs or anything like that.
Mhm.
But it was. I don't know. I wonder when that was.
2008.
In his
I'm
run.
saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we're
Around
using
that
my
time.
phone. So
Around that time. I was definitely like, it was definitely around the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and now his big comebacks. I mean, was the Visit his first
I
return?
think so. I think that was definitely after Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Visit I
I
don't
saw-
think was that good, but then Split was pretty awesome.
Oh, you didn't like The Visit? You liked Split?
Yeah, The Visit just seemed like the Visit's in like most comedy sections, but I don't think he meant for it to be comedic.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing. Tonally, it's kind of all over the place.
That's true.
but-
That the kid, the boy,
that's
he was
the main thing.
He was like hilarious throughout the whole thing. but-
Yeah, I will say what he did. I think he redeemed his twist in that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I think I did enjoy that. And then Split was just good start to finish.
Yeah, that one was just fantastic.
Yeah, the like performance in that movie is mind-boggling.
Mhm.
It's so good. I'm glad that he's
It's coming back.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am, because I feel like he's obviously a talented dude.
Yeah, he just had a rough patch.
A really rough patch, dude. Like so rough. So I wanted to talk about this because I felt dumb.
Uh-huh.
But on Friday the 13th, we went and saw Friday the 13th.
Well, that's not dumb at all.
That's not dumb. The dumb part is I don't know if I forgot or if I never knew who the killer was in that movie.
That's incredible that you didn't know at the time.
I don't think I barely remembered it. I mean, I feel like we saw a good amount of horror movies as kids.
Way more than we should have.
Edward, I know you did too.
Yeah.
But some of them I think I have in my head, but then we went Chunky's did a showing of it on that Friday and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But I was actually like, "Oh, I don't know if I knew that." And I felt pretty dumb.
Man, I mean, yeah, the thing I noticed, I knew about it. I knew, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, we can probably discuss it, right?
I knew that it was, Jason's mother.
Dude, not that part.
Oh, yeah, that Kevin
kidding.
Bacon was in it.
Just kidding.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil that either.
Yo, Kevin Bacon looks pretty good in that movie.
Was that
He,
before or after Footloose?
I think it's his first movie, man.
Footloose. That was
Yeah.
his first?
Yeah, I think, and then Johnny Depp's first movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's
Which
Yep.
is always funny to see
Dude,
him
it's
in
so
that.
funny. Yeah, I didn't.
Jennifer Aniston's first is Leprechaun.
Who's that? Jennifer
Aniston's
Aniston.
first is Leprechaun.
That's right.
Her first movie was Leprechaun?
Yeah, dude.
I know she was in it. I didn't
Dude,
know that was her
That's
first.
how you break in. You need to do horror movies.
That's easy.
That's it.
I'll be in Grudge 5.
I'm sure they're working on it.
Yeah.
I will say, Friday the 13th was pretty enjoyable because it almost felt like a first viewing to me.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
honestly don't remember the last time I saw it.
I've watched it recently, and Mom's had it on TV 100 times. So
Yeah.
I've seen it 50 times this October, but
Have you?
I've seen it a lot more than I planned on.
I trusted that 50 for a second.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Edward, you guys just did a whole episode on it. Do you watch it yearly or anything?
Honestly, it's funny because Chelsea hates slasher films. And
Does
if you
she?
look at Facebook right now, I put that she calls slasher films shitty titty films. Shitty titty films.
That's a good name.
So
That's a
she's
good name.
super mad because I'm doing the whole 31 days of horror movies thing for Halloween month. And
Yeah.
right now all the Friday the 13ths are saved in our saved DVR movies to watch over and over. And then a bunch of the I don't really like the Halloween franchise, so 4 of the Halloween franchises are in there. And then I have Nightmare on Elm Street and all this stuff. And she's like, "Oh, you just have all these shitty titty movies all over our DVR."
That is one thing that we laughed about watching Friday the 13th. They play strip Monopoly. It's pouring outside. And the girl's like, "All right, I'm going to head back to my room." Just doesn't put any pants on.
No.
Just runs outside.
It's so idiotic. She's like,
Dude, it's so funny. All of them, they're just like, "Oh, I'm just going to carry my pants through the wet woods."
Yeah.
No shoes.
No, nothing. She just
it's so impractical. I love how it's so weird. Okay, and then all right.
You're jumping all over the
I
place.
am because I wanted to bring you in on this conversation, Edward. We were talking the other day about what is there's some weird connection between comedy and horror, and I don't understand what that is. Is it just some I don't know. Sometimes it's just funny because it's funny. Sometimes it's meant to be funny. You have an Evil Dead 2 kind of thing,
Right.
But what is that connection? Is it just because it's so out there?
I mean, I think it's just you can't just have straight suspense or gratuitous murder because then it doesn't give people a chance to reset. You got to give them a way to reset, and you got to get them to forget about the last scare so then they can be kind of scared for the next scare.
Oh, so
That's
keeps them tense the whole time, so they won't have as much of a reaction the next scare.
Won't have as much.
Well, if it's scary continuously,
kind of the opposite of that. So when you put a happy moment or a comedic moment after a scare, you kind of let people settle down, and then if you keep having happy / comedic moments, people get into a different mindset. They're no longer thinking about the last scare, and then when the next scare comes, you can scare them with it.
Right. Okay.
Rather than them seeing
Okay.
it coming.
Yeah.
it's just funny to see that mix,
When they blend.
the extreme of horror, the extreme of happiness of a happy scene. You're like, why are these two in the same
Yeah.
film? But that makes perfect sense to give them a moment to breathe, to relax until the next scene,
And then there are the times where they converge, like in Cabin in the Woods.
where it's just like
Yeah,
horror
yeah.
comedy the entire time.
And I love that movie. Dude.
That's a classic, a modern classic.
Are you a Joss Whedon fan, Edward?
I mean, no, I really didn't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer as much as everybody else did.
Yeah.
You know, I liked his work with the Avengers, but I just haven't seen enough of his work to have a definitive answer on if I like him or not. His wife's
you
really
seen Cabin-
nice. I have a story about that.
Yeah. How about it? You got all kinds
So-
of stories. I like it.
One time, right after I broke up with my girlfriend, it was my birthday. Like 14 days later, I was working at this shitty place in Santa Monica, and my friend Justin, who also worked there, decided to take us out to this random place he heard of. It's like almost like a New England house, but it's a club
Okay.
Oh,
in
that's
the middle of
cool.
Santa Monica, and like the basement is like where they have like music playing, and like there's bars on every floor, but it's like literally set up like a New England house with like just like
Huh.
like you'd walk into a house and there'd be like a living room and then like a kitchen and stuff. That's all there
But
except it's a club.
That's so interesting.
That is,
to,
yeah. It sounds pretty cool.
So
To
we
turn
go to
the
this
house
place, and
upside.
my friend just happens to be wearing a Firefly shirt, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just hanging out. We've had like 2 drinks or whatever. Then all of a sudden, this older woman, probably around like in her like late 30s, early 40s, just says, "Hey, nice shirt," to my friend, and we were like, "Oh, cool, thanks." She likes Firefly.
Yeah.
The lady she's with, who's like a younger lady like our age, comes up to us and she's like, "Do you know who that is? That's Joss Whedon's wife."
No way.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we get to like talking to this woman, and I again have no idea who Joss Whedon is. I have no idea like at this point like really anything about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I liked. I didn't really watch Firefly, but I watched the movie. What was the movie called?
So Serenity.
Serenity. Yeah.
Serenity. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I don't know who this woman is, but we just get talking to her, who happened to be her nanny, the lady that was with her. And
Okay.
she comes back and somehow or another finds out that it's my birthday. And she's just like, "Oh, it's your birthday? Let me buy some drinks." Goes up to the bar. "Can I have 2 bottles of Cristal, please?"
What?
And the whole night, Joss Whedon's wife and their nanny were giving me free drinks of Cristal.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And no one
That's
believed
a-
me, but I got her phone number and everything. And then 2 months after that job is when I went to Florida to shoot a film, and my phone was stolen, and all the phone numbers and everything that I had saved in the phone from the last 7 months was destroyed.
No.
Yeah. So like I only had like 7 months prior everybody's numbers and all that kind of stuff.
Dude,
Jeez.
that story turned into a tragedy. I
That
didn't
is
see it
so
coming.
upsetting because just at any point you could have called her up and be like, "Hey, how's your husband doing?" Which is a weird
No, I
question.
did.
to
Yeah,
ask.
maybe not
the next day, like it was really strange because like I told people the story. Even the dude that was there, but my friend that was there was like, "Dude, like I thought you were gonna fuck Joss Whedon's wife."
It is kind of strange that she was there without him.
Maybe they're just good people.
Well, she was just there
Yeah,
with her
nice
girlfriend
people.
or whatever.
Right,
just
right.
hanging out.
But like she was like super drunk by the end of the night, obviously, but like just giving us tons of Cristal and stuff, having fun
Yeah.
with her friend. But
Wow.
no, I asked her because I was doing a series for that place that I was working, where it was like how-to videos type of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were doing like a mentor series, so we were gonna have Joss Whedon come in and like just do an Ask Me
Wow.
Anything type of thing.
Oh.
Because we had just had like Sam Harris, who's like huge. We had Elon
Yeah.
Musk. We had all these people. I was like, oh, Joss Whedon would definitely do it if he knows that we got these people.
Yeah.
Right.
So we were going to, and then that's when
And
everybody
then-
got laid off, and
Oh.
and that's when I lost my phone and everything. So
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Well,
so
if you,
close.
If you
Get
ever
that story.
yeah, and if you ever run into her again, you can be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, remember my birthday? My birthday party you threw me?" Oh, it's great.
That's amazing.
So I don't know. Did you have anything in movies that you wanted to talk about?
Unsigned.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
I know a lot
Edward,
about
have
that
you heard of
movie.
it?
Yeah, I hear you're a fan. So,
It
yeah. So
kinda
I finally
sucks,
got.
honestly. I know a lot about it, but yeah, it sucks.
I'm glad. No, it's good to have someone who can talk about the movie very well.
Give a balanced opinion.
Right.
Right.
So I finally got the chance to watch it. I watched it last night, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did. I was, yes. Thank you for creating such a great documentary. I appreciated it.
Thank you.
So, anyways, it was hard for me at first because I'm not into like the music scene at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
I'm not
I was
either.
like, oh, not at all.
No.
It totally felt like you were into it. So.
That's cool.
That's interesting. That's really cool because I feel like to make well, maybe not to make a documentary, but you would have like a major interest in it to be able to make it well, anyways. Because but that's super interesting. So I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it was really awesome. Like, what was your whole process? Like, why did you want to make that over anything else?
Well, at that time in my life, we made it a few years ago, and basically what happened was the reason why it came out recently is because we originally had a distributor, but then that distributor went bankrupt. So the movie was just kind of in limbo for a long time because it wasn't a new release. So like we couldn't get a new distributor, and then like it was too like the subject matter, everything took place in 2010, so it was like. We couldn't release it as a new release, and we couldn't get a distributor because it was not a new release. So it was just in limbo for the longest time, and we got a really good distributor recently. But I would say the process behind it was, at that point in my life, I had just graduated college, and you say like it's hard to see someone who's not in the music industry make a movie like that, but I definitely saw those parallels in like the film industry because right when I graduated, like every other bright-eyed, college graduate, you think like, oh, I'm going to be the next Spielberg. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to work at Universal. I'm going to work my way up the ladder. I'm going to make movies, and then I'm going to be, set for the rest of my life. But it was like a year after graduation. I was at like a desk job that I hated, where they kind of like demeaned you in a way. Not even in a way. Like my first day at this job, we closed at like 9:00 and people started packing up at 8:56. So
wow.
The shift leader was like, oh, since you guys cleaned up 3 minutes early, I'm going to shut the lights off and we're all going to keep our heads down for the extra 5 minutes that you owe me.
Oh my God,
dude.
Yeah. So like, it was a desk job where I was just calling people all day that didn't want to be called. There was no windows or anything like that, so you never even knew what time it was. We weren't allowed to use our phones. We weren't allowed to look at like our phones. They didn't have a clock in the room. So basically, like, they told you when your shift was over, and then your shift was over. So, at that time, I wanted to make a documentary. I didn't know what it was going to be about, but I knew I wanted to have people in that situation. And rather than telling something about film, I found people that kind of were in the same situation, like, we're living the 9-to-5 desk job thing and wanted to go to the next level, but either didn't know how or either like were in the process of doing that and doing everything they could to make that happen. So that's where I met all these bands. I put a Craigslist ad out looking for bands, and I got like 137 responses.
Wow.
Man.
Had to go through all of them, and like the biggest thing was like I like a lot of different kinds of music, especially a lot of kinds of rock music. So I didn't want the bands to be like all like similar, but I also had to like the music to pick the bands. So that's where all these 3 bands actually got picked.
That's cool. So Tim, as someone who's like not really into the music scene, do you feel like you learned something about like the
honestly,
scene and being in a band?
It was very informative, especially on just like. And it's funny because I've seen you go through similar things where
that's like where I come from.
Yeah,
so, to me,
and it's funny because I saw a lot of parallels where they're just like trying to start up, they're getting new band members, they're losing band members, and it was super interesting because not only did you like it's not just 3 bands, it's like a band starting up, a pretty established band, and then this like I would call him like a solo guy. Like he has a band, but it focused more on him. What was his name again? It was Paul. Yes, yeah. I really liked his music. So it was interesting to see all these different perspectives on people trying to get signed, trying to get big. And yeah, it just made me think a lot about you, Brett, because you've been in and out of bands all over the place. And so I feel like you'll really enjoy it. I know you haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I haven't yet.
But I think it'll like apply to you a lot, you know?
I love the concept of it because it's like, I mean, like even Edward, like you were saying, seeing the parallels, it's like a particular journey that so many people go on, but everybody experiences it a little bit differently, you know? Like, so even like starting a band, like I just started a new band with some friends at the end of last year, and it felt so weird because we had all been in bands that lasted for like years and years and years. So that's one experience, being in a band that's like been together for a while, you're hoping something happens, you put out music, that kind of thing. And then you start a band, and it's like you've started a band before, but now you're later in life, and perspectives change, and everything's different. And like, so I don't know, it's kind of like a concept that's just always living and breathing because so many people can relate to it.
Yeah.
So where did you watch it? It's on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay.
You
Is that
didn't
on
watch
Prime
it yet?
Video, you know?
What's that?
You didn't watch it yet, Brett?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, it's all right. You've only
No,
had a
it's
year
not.
since the last time we talked.
I know, dude. It's so
I'm pretty bad too. I watched it last night.
You know what
so-
the worst thing is? I just need to put the Amazon app like on my iPad.
I know. I've never signed in because I don't watch anything on it.
I'm so bad.
One,
I know.
One
I'm the
second, I'm gonna
worst.
change the card out on this camera.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. Okay, so speaking of movies of yours that I haven't seen yet, I also have not yet seen Our Friend Jon, but I really want to talk about it. It's out now, yeah?
Not out yet.
It's not.
Well,
No.
then you see, you got to pass, Brett. You got
I
a free
feel
pass.
better now.
But if you guys want to go to the premiere, we're gonna have one very soon in New Hampshire. So no dates yet solidified, but we
Okay.
spoke about Chunky's earlier. It's gonna be definitely at Chunky's.
That's awesome. So is the project completed? I thought I had seen something recently about another step toward it coming out.
No, it's done. It's done. Basically, right now we're just there's a thing called errors and omissions insurance. In order to get it, it's basically like for documentaries, you need to get it because say there's a logo that somehow made it in the background and they don't want to be in the film or whatever.
Okay.
Also, there's some clips that we used. So we're trying to go and use fair use, which is the best thing to use in our situation, where basically if you use a certain portion of, like, say, like a movie or something like that, you're not required to pay, like, rights if you use it in a certain way, and then you get a letter from a lawyer saying that it's fair use.
Okay.
And get the errors and omissions insurance. Basically, errors and omissions insurance makes you free and clear from anything. Like, you can have a Red Sox logo on your shirt and walk around, and errors and omissions insurance would cover that.
Gotcha.
So that's the only thing right now, just the legal stuff. But everything, as far as like the film itself, is completely done.
Okay. And you don't have the dates for the release yet?
Not yet. Right now, we're kind of just gearing towards like a whole big festival run, and then we're going forward with it after the festival run. But we are going to have like I said, like a family and friends kind of screening in both Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and in the Los Angeles area.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that.
Yeah.
Do you want to give for anyone? So you said that's going to be like a family and friends. That won't be like open to the public kind of thing, or?
I mean, like, if people hear this podcast, they're friends of mine.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, we can make a post about it.
Totally.
And do you want to just share briefly? I know we did on the last podcast because you were working on it, but just briefly, what the film's about and the
Good
story
old
behind
synopsis.
it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So basically, back in 2013, a good family friend of ours, John Hernandez, died due to complications stemming from sickle cell anemia. And before he died, he was writing a script for a horror film that he wanted to make with his friends. His friends being my brother, me, and a few other friends, all with their own disabilities. My brother has spina bifida. Two of his friends have autism on different points of the spectrum. And basically, they saw it as a huge way to honor their friend if they went ahead and made his film, even though they had no kind of experience doing so or any idea like where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, our documentary is the year process of them putting everything together, shooting it, and getting everything done.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like, so you're just following their steps to making the film.
Yeah, and they literally had no idea where to start. Like, didn't know how cameras turned on. Like, didn't know that they had to get actors. Didn't know how to get locations.
Yeah, they just
so it was just like a huge. It's basically catching their learning process on camera, as well as like putting together like a tribute to John's life. So the film kind of starts out with like talking about John and what John meant to all these kids' lives and everything like that. Like, he wasn't just my brother's best friend. At the time, he was actually living with my brother in the room that I used to live in before I moved to California.
Really?
Jeez.
Yeah, so like he was actually sickle cell anemia. Like what he had was like just so debilitating that a lot of times parents aren't equipped to even deal with their own children's like problems, and when they get older, you know, it's hard to keep it up. Like a lot of people like think like, oh well, when someone gets older they can get a job and stuff, but like the jobs are very limited if you could have a seizure at any time and people are there that don't know how to deal with the seizure, or if you get very, very tired and unless someone looks at you that knows what to be looking for, don't know if it's something to where you're going to like pass out or if it's just like you being natural fatigue.
Right.
So John's mother actually had John live with my mom, who was a registered nurse, and this was like his new, almost like a foster home for an adult. So he came in not knowing my brother at all and stuff, and they just formed this like amazing friendship to where they like did everything together. They went out to bars together. They like went to Comic-Cons together and all this kind of stuff. And this group of friends is pretty much like inseparable. So on top of just the original, movie they were going to make together, they had hours and hours of footage of them just hanging out together and doing all kinds of stuff. And that
so
kind of
cool.
makes it into the documentary as well.
Yeah. Has so you've seen like, the final of it and everything, I imagine.
Yeah, I made the final of it. Like I edited it, shot. I was one of the cameramen, edited it, picked the music, like worked with everybody from start to finish. So, and their film though, their friend, the film they made was called Rose Thorn, which is about 15 minutes long, and yeah, I saw that as well. And that actually, their full film is actually in the documentary as well.
Oh,
okay. I was gonna ask if that would be shown like in conjunction. So has John's friends and family all seen it yet?
They have not seen the documentary. The only one who has seen the documentary is me and my director of photography thus far.
Oh man. Dude,
I guess the composer.
Okay. That's going to be amazing for them to see.
Yeah, I see a lot of tears coming.
Will they see it before the premiere, or will that be their
That's going to be
their
their opening, and then like
nice.
We got a lot of support as well. Something we did for the guys is they're all like huge like WWE wrestling fans.
Okay.
So we got in touch with like the managers of Booker T, Ken Shamrock, and Kurt Angle.
Wow.
And they basically all gave us short little like video clips of them like wishing the guys luck, or at certain points like telling the boys congratulations and stuff, like by name. And
wow.
So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Dude, that's good. That premiere is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's. I'm getting sad thinking about it.
No, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
good.
no, it's not just sad, man. Like, there's definitely like, I think I did a good job of, not to toot my own horn, I think I did a good job of like not making the whole thing like just sad throughout, like you're watching like a a Holocaust like documentary or something like that.
Right.
But like, you know, kind of sprinkling in like the really comedic points, because the guys are like just like all really funny as well. They all have their
Yeah.
own like personalities that are like distinctly them.
Yeah.
Almost to the point like you can consider some of them like characters that you would see in a movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a hard thing to balance that, but it's super important in something like that. You know, I mean, any story that's like, you know, ultimately tragic, like I feel like that's the goal of a documentary about it, or even a story about it, where you need to highlight the good about it, and like it want it to be more of a celebration, obviously, than a mourning. You know what I mean? Like a dedication.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I had a quick question. Did you have any influence on their movie making process? Like, did you give them pointers?
Not at
Did
all.
you help them?
Not at all. I mean,
Not at
unless
all.
unless they specifically asked like, how do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time we would ever step in and be like, oh, you just press this or whatever. Or
Right.
if they asked like, how do you do this? But otherwise, they 100% had everything. They picked the actors, they picked the camera, they picked the locations, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's it's gonna be good. It'll be good. I mean, it would have been good with your influence, but
so many different elements in this one film.
right.
That's exciting. You must be excited about showing it around here too.
Dude, I definitely am. So in the movie, they have their screen. It's gonna be like kind of like very deja vu for people, because in the movie they have their premiere of the short film at Chunky's, which we put in the documentary, and then we're showing the documentary again at Chunky's.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
We were talking about when we went there. I love Chunky's.
Chunky's is something special.
Just like
It's great,
what they
man.
do, you know, like what they use, even them doing like the Friday the 13th on the Friday the 13th,
Mhm.
doing premieres like this. I just feel like they use a theater like the way it should be used.
Yeah, exactly. Like just for people to enjoy, and it's cool because you can multitask by having like a dinner with it, and people can just like enjoy life. You know, basically, that's what I think. It's
They
like
can just
it's everything that's good
enjoy
about life right there in the
I guess
theater.
it is like the perfect setting to premiere something like this, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really
and
good.
I don't know if you knew this about Chunky's, but for people that are doing independent stuff,
Mm-hmm.
100% free.
What?
Nope,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
So you
basically
just get
all
in
you have
touch
to
with
do
them
is
and-
encourage whoever you have there to one, you have to like guarantee a certain amount of people will show up,
Okay.
and kind of push that they buy food and drinks, because I guess Chunky's
Oh,
really doesn't make their money off the tickets; it's off the food and drinks.
Yeah,
That-
I
that
noticed their
makes sense.
tickets are cheap. It's like $4 to $5. But food is
it's a really good business model, especially doing like those specialty showings.
yeah.
Um,
I know I get food every time. So
yeah, their food's pretty delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Got chicken wings last time. Oh yeah, I ate buffalo wings while watching Friday the 13th. It was a great experience.
Yeah, that must have been special.
It was. It was really good. All right, man. Cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing about that. And you'll have to let us know about the premiere, because I know we would definitely love to come check it out.
Absolutely.
And get other people to come, so we can promote it and stuff on the Facebook page and whatnot.
For sure, their movie actually sold out, so I'm hoping that Chunky's will give us a bigger theater for the documentary.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's sold out. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you know
Good for them?
do you know how many people were there at that one?
It was a 65-person theater.
Nice.
Nice.
That's so cool.
So yeah, they got about 65 people there, and yeah, it was great, man. Honestly, they were like very accommodating, and you know, the whole thing is very nostalgic. Every time I shoot in New Hampshire and get a chance to, I try to as much as I can, because it's just like
Yeah.
the most nostalgic. You know, there's a lot of nostalgic stuff in the movie. Like the place I grew up in randomly shows up in the background of like different interviews and stuff like that, but we never talk about that being like where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there. Yeah. So
It's
you
just
know.
there in the
It's
background, and then like they decided to shoot like a scene on the bike path right next to my house growing up and stuff. So
Wow. That's funny, man. Yeah, that's cool. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Was there anything else you guys had in movies?
Not
I don't
me.
think I have anything.
No, I'm good too.
All right, then we get to go to video games.
Video games.
All right, sweet. So, it's October, but I don't really need an excuse to talk about horror games because they're like my favorite ever. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw out a favorites question. Do you guys have a favorite horror game or like experience with a horror game?
Mhm.
What is it? Tim, don't just nod at me. I'll punch you right in the neck.
Edward's the guest. He should go first.
Okay,
I should
I
go
just wanted
first?
you to say that.
Dude,
Yeah.
my,
Yeah, you can go first.
my favorite horror game, bar none, of all time is Manhunt for the PlayStation 2.
That's
Oh.
pretty solid.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good choice.
Manhunt's a good
But
game.
I didn't.
you have to play on
Yeah,
hard.
go ahead.
You have to play on hard.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, you got to be pretty stealthy in that game.
Yeah, the game totally changes if you play on hard as opposed to easy. Easy, you can see where all the bad guys are. Hard, there's no radar, so they just literally show up.
Oh, that makes it scarier for
That's
sure.
a game
Because
changer.
yeah, when you see him coming,
No
you
pun
know.
intended.
But yeah, that game's really good. It dated better than most Rockstar games, I think. Like it aged well.
Yeah,
That one's easier for me to pick up than most other ones.
Mhm.
That's interesting. So you would say that's your best? Do you have any like specific moments in it, or you just really enjoyed the game?
Dude,
just
the
all
last
the way
level
through?
where you have to fight the pig creature, the Texas
Oh.
Chainsaw Massacre type pig guy, is
Yep.
insane. Insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's scary. It's hard. It's all over the place.
That was
friggin' thing.
PS2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely
Yep.
push the limits,
PS2.
too.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
What with gore and whatnot?
Just everything.
Yeah.
Just like. Oh yeah, that game. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it even I don't know. I heard it got an AO rating. I've never seen like a copy with AO on it, but
Was it?
adults only.
Adults only?
You guys can't see,
I don't
but
know.
I'm literally holding it in front of the camera on my end.
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. Great. That's great. So, so a horror game. I mean, Resident Evil, the original,
Yeah.
always sticks pretty well in my head. You know,
Yeah.
the dogs jumping through the windows.
That's a classic moment.
The
My
B
favorite-
horror acting.
My favorite would have to be Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yeah. It's
4 is
untouchable.
so solid. Why do you
4
like that
yeah.
over any other one?
I thought the gameplay was smoother.
Oh, definitely.
I felt a lot in 1 through 3. I felt a lot of the times like the camera angles kind of just like became annoying to where
Dude,
I don't
so
think it was,
annoying.
like, part of the game. It was just an annoying gameplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it really was. Well, I think especially I loved Nemesis,
Mhm.
Resident Evil 3. Especially when Nemesis would just show up and you have to run from him.
Even in that save room, the
Yeah, right.
where you're safe and you think you're good, and he crashes through the
Right.
wall. Horrifying.
But what would suck about it is the camera angles, because you would go through a door
Yep.
and you don't even know, like the angle makes no sense, and you'd
Mhm.
run right into him.
And he's a one-hit kill on you, right?
I'm pretty sure at that point in the game, yeah,
Or-
like any of the chases,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he just grabs you, and
Mhm.
it's been a while since I played it.
Yeah.
Before it was definitely like a whole step ahead. Like that's when I started getting back into games. I
Mhm.
played that on GameCube, and I was like, "What have video games become? This is amazing."
Oh, it's so funny. I think that was on GameCube before anything else.
I think it's been on the most consoles of like any game.
Didn't
At this point.
one of them Resident Evil? No, it was Manhunt. Should have talked about this during Manhunt, but didn't it get banned for like Nintendo?
I think-
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I
Was it
think
on the
did
Wii?
Because it was first person, and like Nintendo didn't want any games where you were being like first person killing people.
Right, because
Oh.
it was too realistic. Like they
Yeah.
felt like it was too.
That was Manhunt.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I think
okay.
that was on the Wii, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Or-
was something. It was either Manhunt or Manhunt 2.
I think so.
I think it was Manhunt 2.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was on a lot of weird systems. But I'm told.
Nintendo banned it.
Yeah, Nintendo. I mean, which is funny because they let Mad World on the system, although that didn't have first person, but that was super
Yeah.
violent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I actually never played the second Manhunt. Any better than the first? Just
No,
as
it's
good?
actually
Worse?
Definitely worse.
Ah.
than worse.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I think I should have had an answer prepared, but I have a bunch of games like jumping through my head.
pouring into your head.
But like, well, just Silent Hill is like the scariest universe.
because that deals with the fear of unknown,
Yeah,
because you don't know what the heck you're getting into.
yeah, and the creature design has always been just so unnerving. Like ever since Pyramid Head and weird twitchy mannequins and stuff.
Oh, hands down, scariest thing ever in any game. Condemned, the Xbox 360
Yeah?
like first person game. There's a scene or part of a level where you have to like, I mean, you're just exploring, you're just going around, but there's a part where there's this locker, and throughout the whole game, you're opening lockers, getting items from it and stuff. So you just walk up to the locker like any other one, you open it, and some guy comes flying out of it. I couldn't play the game for like 3 weeks after. I was scarred. I was like, screw this, I'm done. Like that was it. It scared the crap out of me.
Well, isn't most of the game like dark room with a flashlight?
Yeah.
That to me is probably one of the most consistently scary like horror tropes is dark room with a flashlight. where
Mannequins, man.
Your only
Mannequins.
line of sight is the flashlight.
Yeah. Doom had that. Doom 3,
Mhm.
but it was really bad because you couldn't see where you were going because the light was like so tiny.
Well, that sounds more annoying than
yeah,
scary.
it really was. But it was scary too because you couldn't see anybody attacking you. So
Oh, okay, there's that.
yeah.
Edward, did you ever play PT?
Say it again.
Did you ever play PT? It was
No, I didn't.
it was a teaser put out. Was it only on PlayStation?
Only on PlayStation 4. Yeah.
It was for the game that we never got, right?
Silent Hills.
Yeah, it was when they were working on Silent Hills, and Guillermo del Toro was working on it and whatnot. And they just put out this teaser. That was probably the scariest thing I've ever
Yeah,
played.
I mean, it. Even though I just said Condemned was, I totally forgot about.
It's
PT.
because I forget about PT. I mean, how long was it? 10 minutes or something?
No, it took us like an hour to beat it
Yeah,
because
that's-
it's like puzzly.
I gotta admit something. I have not ever even played a PS4 in my life.
Oh, dude, you're missing out. There's so many good games.
I try to stick around. Like my whole thing is just the retro game stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing wrong
honestly
with that.
really
There's
only
so
bought-
many good games.
Bought a PS3 for a few games, including Fallout and
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Skyrim. and
Fallout's
stuff,
amazing.
But
Yep.
mostly for the Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big thing because it was more expensive to get a Blu-ray
Just-
player.
Yeah, you might as well get something you can play games on.
Right,
too,
exactly.
At that
So-
point. But okay, yeah. So let's get into the retro games because that's what I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I've been seeing you post not only like a super obscure collection of Genesis games, but I know that you're super into like the hacked games and stuff like that. And I didn't even know that they put those out physically until you told me like last time you were on the show. So like,
man, there's so
I don't know.
many. Tim
Yeah,
probably doesn't even know this. There's literally there's a guy you can go on Instagram. I believe it's Toysaurus. Is the guy who puts them out.
Sword.
That's the one where I see most of them. But he has like Sonic 1, but then like 30 different variations with different sprites as the main character in Sonic 1, where you can be like Kirby, then you can be Mario, then you can be like every other character from Sonic, like what's the Dark Sonic? Not Nightmare. What's his name?
Shadow. Yeah.
Knuckles and Sonic.
Do they have
1,
different
that's him.
like move sets, or are they all just like run like Sonic?
No. They all have their own movesets. Like Kirby, you can be Kirby.
Oh.
And Kirby flies.
Oh my God, that's so
Dude,
cool.
Tim's having a heart attack over
That
here.
is so cool.
Yeah, and it's
That's
not just-
amazing,
it's
'cause-
like those are like the lower level, the lower tier of like what is actually out there. Like there's like you can play Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, I
or
love that
Streets
game.
of Rage 3, but instead of being the Streets of Rage characters, you can be Beavis and Butthead,
Yeah.
or you can be the Simpsons, or you can be the Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
it's
And
pretty-
different move sets,
all
or
different
like
move-
similar? Like, are
movesets
they?
that they would use in the actual game? So it's all been like button mapped, and even
Yeah.
for like Streets of Rage 2, if you do the Simpsons ones, all the final bosses are replaced with Simpsons bosses.
That's incredible.
No way.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Who are these?
And then there's
black
like a bunch
magicians?
of games. There's a bunch of games that actually like never came out on anything. But do you guys remember? Not a lot of people knew about this, but they had like Sega Channel.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Okay, so
Um,
a lot of games
yeah, it's super
only
cool.
came out on Sega Channel, So
Mm-hmm.
people then later on re-release them like way after like the Genesis shelf life, as physical things like their own artwork and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
A
that's
few of
so
those
cool.
games would be like Golden Axe 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a bunch of other games. There's actually studios today, because the retro game world has become so big in the last few years randomly, especially
Yeah.
like Nintendo definitely contributed to it.
Oh,
Whereas,
yeah.
like,
With the
big
NES
Nintendo
Classic and
collectors
stuff.
don't really care about Nintendo Classic or Super Nintendo Classic because they already have all the games.
Yeah, they only put really the popular ones.
Right.
And anybody who's anybody would have those. So.
But what it did was it made retro gaming like mainstream again for the most part, to the point where like a lot of GameStops and stuff actually restarted selling retro games again.
I saw that they're only doing it online, at least around me, like in New Hampshire and stuff. But it's so interesting that everyone's getting back into it.
Are they selling like resale or?
Yeah, they're taking them in. I don't like only
Yeah.
certain places though. I don't know if you can do every
Okay.
GameStop, but like I was looking the other day, they were having a sale, and it was like 15% off or whatever on shipping. But you can get a Dreamcast for $30 through
Whoa.
that, and I was like, whoa! I already have one, so
Yeah.
I get it just because I love the system so
Well,
much. But
get this, man. There's companies today that are making brand new Genesis games for the Genesis now.
oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like new
Like with
new
new
games or-
graphics and everything, still 16-bit, but like faster processors and all that kind of stuff that work in the original.
I was gonna say,
Genesis.
The
Wow.
games must work incredible now. Like everything, all the years since that came out, they could make games run like flawlessly.
That is
Yeah,
so
I
interesting.
forget I forget the studio, and you guys probably around the computer, so it might be easier to look it up. But I have a game called the hell, Beggar Prince.
Beggar
It's
Prince?
called Beggar Prince, and it originally only came out in Asia. And
Okay.
so the original company re-released it in like 2003 in like
For the Genesis?
for the Genesis in English, and it's the last official release for the Genesis was in 2003.
That's crazy to hear, because
Oh.
that's...
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
they've made so many games since then, and they continue to make games. Dude, there's like a lot of the games that are coming out are like games that were never released for. They're either brand new altogether, or they're games that were never released for anything but arcade.
Oh, that's super cool, too.
Yeah, like a lot of side scrollers where you can have like 4 players on screen at the same time fighting with each other and stuff like that. They're introducing online play for the Genesis.
You can do that, like, now?
Yeah. So like,
What?
I have the Retron 5. So the Retron 5 is kind of like,
Oh,
it's kind
I
of like
want that
the
so
new,
badly.
The new like standard for I don't want to say clone games because it's not a clone because you're playing the original games, but for $150 you have a system that plays Famicom, Super Famicom, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Mega Drive, Master System, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and the cool thing about it is there's actually a save feature.
Oh, that's so cool. So it saves it to the system? Or the...
Yeah, basically like...
it-
So right now that's what it has, but basically because it's a powerful system, it can actually get firmware updates like a PlayStation or PlayStation 3 or 4 would.
Whoa.
And
Oh,
with
so it's
each
like an
one-
emulator.
Yeah, with each one, it's getting like new awesome
Okay.
shit. So they're talking about
Oh.
possibly in the future making it so you can do online play with like Genesis games. So as you would play like Mortal Kombat 10 online, you could play Mortal Kombat 2 online.
No
Oh,
way.
my God.
Yo, that is the weirdest thing. The way technology has gone to get to a point where like, oh, look at all these new awesome things.
Mhm.
But then the nostalgia factor coming into play and being like, oh, I wish I had this when I was younger.
Right.
But it's like, oh, look, you can play
We're
those
pretty much
games.
there.
It's weird that there's an appeal to
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
that would be awesome. Like,
That is so cool because you could pop in any game and have a second player to help you.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage, Mortal Kombat, like you said.
Dude.
Ooh, that's some crazy potential.
Wow.
I
So much Turtles in Time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've barely like even scratched the surface on reproduction games and all that stuff. I'm super interested. It's a hard market just because I don't have like an amazing knowledge of classic or old games or like.
Sonic. You know Sonic.
I do know Sonic
Metal
and
Sonic
his music.
Overdrive. I will say this right now. I don't care who it offends.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Sonic Overdrive is better than any Sonic game that was actually officially released.
Woo!
Both
You know,
music-
and I.
Both music and gameplay.
Oh, that's serious. I'll have to listen to that. And it wouldn't surprise me because the fans treat Sonic better than the actual developers, at least in recent years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I could totally imagine a fan doing way better. And music-wise, people know how to make good Sonic
So
music.
you never played that one?
No, I haven't. And I actually have this Dreamcast like repro disc where they put like just a million games on it. It's got a bunch of Genesis games, but it has a bunch of hacked Sonic games.
Weird.
And I've played, I think I talked about it before, but it was like Sonic ZX or something. And it was really hard, but it was cool. Like it just like changed the design of the levels, and
Yeah.
Sonic was a different sprite. He was like more HDified, I guess.
Yeah.
And he looked more like well refined and stuff. But it's I really do want to get into it, and there's a market out there.
Yeah.
People are selling them all the time, kickstarting them, whatever. I want to get into it for sure.
Yeah.
Is that one that you have a
so-
physical
so-
copy of?
What was that?
Is that one that you have a physical copy
I
of?
have a physical copy of Metal Sonic Overdrive. And in it, you can be Metal Sonic, who's like the main character. You can be Sonic regular. You can be Sumari, which is Super Mario. You can be Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be, I don't even know what it is, but I'm assuming it's a Nintendo character, but it's like this little nightmare creature from another Nintendo game.
Huh.
I wonder what it is.
And they all have like
Sounds
different
cool, though.
abilities that like help them navigate the levels. And the levels are made for every single one of them to have like different things you can unlock.
That's
Man,
sick.
that is so
Dude,
cool.
You need to play that like right now.
Seriously, can you download it online? Like, is it available for free?
I don't know. I've never downloaded a game, but you can. I bought all
Yeah.
these off of eBay, and then
Man, I need to start looking.
dude, I have one called King Fighter 2000. And it
I
just
remember you
takes-
talking about that one.
Did I
It's
tell
just
you
a
about
fighter,
it, like,
right?
on the podcast, or I tell you about it like?
I don't remember
I
it.
can't remember, but just tell me about it again, because
All right,
I
so-
remember it was awesome. Whatever.
So King Fighter 2000 takes like all the best sprites and their movesets from all these different games. They take like Cyclops from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. It takes like Super Saiyan. It takes randomly Michael Jordan from a basketball game
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
and Muhammad Ali. And then it takes
They
like,
just-
a whole bunch of other people from like Tekken and from like Fatal Fury and all these different things.
Oh my
Ryu.
God.
And essentially it puts them all in this one fight. But they made like cutscenes and everything at the beginning of the game. So the beginning of the game acts like it's like a regular basketball game, and Michael Jordan goes up to dunk, and then all of a sudden he gets punched in the face by Muhammad Ali while he's dunking.
Oh
That's
my
incredible.
God.
Like, why does this game exist?
I would never think I'd see that in my life.
What is the like fight mechanic of it? Like, does it play like a Street Fighter game,
It
or
plays
is
like
it
Fatal Fury essentially.
okay?
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the hacked games, they'll take like the bare bones of something and then they'll make a game out of it. Like I have a Genesis game that's actually Pokemon, but they called it Pocket Monsters,
Uh huh.
and it's basically like Cutthroat Island.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they took the mechanics of Cutthroat Island but put Pikachu in it.
Oh, I actually might have played that one.
Really?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So like, what does your collection look like at this point? Do you know how many you have? Like games in general?
Yeah, I believe I just passed 396.
Nice.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
solid. I've actually never counted my games.
I was just thinking that. How have you never counted your games?
I don't know. I just I get a lot of them. Well, not a lot, but I have a solid amount digitally,
Right.
and I didn't know if I should include them. Do I alphabetize them? Like,
I think you gotta go physical.
I mean, yeah, I do.
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, all the
But,
all the pretty rare ones are pretty much down. I just have some super rare ones that are really expensive, and then I haven't really dealt with the sports games because I figure I can get those anytime. They're like 5 to 25 cents each.
Yeah,
Right,
you'll
right.
get those for.
They're
you'll,
everywhere.
You'll get them all for $1.
You'll get them accidentally. They'll just like show up.
Slide it.
Things are everywhere. Do you have like a list? Like, you trying to knock out like every Genesis game?
Yeah, I have a list. It's very funny because the list is like 3 years old at this point, and it's like falling apart. So it's in like this plastic just to keep it so it's one piece.
Yeah.
And I bring it to the original game store that I got it on to like cross stuff off, and they have some people there. Like, I don't know if the people just are slow or like something is going on, but like every time I go there, the guy's like, "Oh well, I can't honor the prices on that list since it's an old list." It's like, dude, I know. I'm just crossing off what I don't have.
It's like, how many years have I been coming?
It's like, no one has a list that they use when they come in to see like what games they have and don't have.
Yeah.
Right, like it's the first time they've ever seen that happen.
What the heck?
But like the same guy, you ask like, "Oh, what's rare?" He's like, "Well, nobody really knows what's rare that we have because the only people that could tell you that work at the Sega company, and those catalogs were destroyed years ago."
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's like, what
like
are
some-
you talking about? What expensive
I just wanna
games do
know.
you have right now?
What? I have $500. Point me to a game that's worth that.
Yeah.
Show me what's expensive.
Only people from the
That's so
Sega
funny.
company could tell you what's worth that.
Be like, do you have any of those people here?
It's
'Cause
like, you got their
someone
number or
needs
something?
to give me answers.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's incredible. What is your rarest game you have?
The rarest thing I have is not actually even a game, technically. Back in the days of Blockbuster, R.I.P. Blockbuster,
Yeah.
before downloading anything or downloadable games was a thing. In select locations, Blockbuster started something called Game Factory. And basically what Game Factory was, there was either a green or a blue basically like cartridge that you could actually put into a machine at Blockbuster and put any game you wanted onto it. You'd give it to the customer. Customer would play it, bring it back, you'd erase it, and then refill it with whatever the next customer wanted.
Oh, so it like
Weird.
put the data. Nintendo did this in Japan at some point too. Very similar thing. You get an empty cartridge and you load some games on. And we were just talking about with the Sega Channel, right? That's what that was called. And but that was a little
this is
different.
than the Sega Channel. This was just specifically
Right.
for Blockbuster, and it was only one game, not like 30 games or whatever.
Oh, okay.
this
So
was even
what's
before
the
Sega
game?
Channel was a thing.
Oh wow, it
This
was even
like-
before
this
that.
was
That's
like
crazy.
1994.
Okay.
Wow.
So what happened was when obviously Blockbuster went out of business, but way before that they discontinued this thing. But those specific Blockbuster Game Factory Green and Blues became like some of the most rare stuff you could get. So I have a Blockbuster Green right now, and I've only ever seen another blue on eBay, and you can look it up, but like usually they go around $999 each.
Woo!
The one I got
That's insanity.
for $420.
Hey, that sounds like a great freaking deal.
Comparatively.
But I got the green one. The blue one's harder to find, and that's the one that's usually around $1,000. But then,
Yeah.
obviously, there's like way more expensive games. There's like they have the Judge Dredd NBA Jam Championships editions. Like $14,000.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah.
That is mental.
So
Oh my gosh.
I'll get there.
That's crazy. Yeah, man.
Yeah, eventually. That's dedication right there.
Crazy. Yo, our camera just died. We gotta switch out the battery real quick. All right, man. Well, I know you have another podcast to record tonight, so
Because he's so famous.
I know he's got a lot
But I
going
have
on.
no voice.
Yeah.
I know you just talked for
No.
2 hours straight, and you're like, "Hey guys."
But I want to remind everyone to go check out the Horror Geeks. Be on the lookout for our friend John. Unsigned is on Amazon. Is there anywhere else people can find Unsigned?
Unsigned is just on Amazon right now, but you can watch it free with it if you have Amazon Prime. And
Okay,
the other movie,
cool.
Cohasset Stuff Film, is actually on there as well. I think for $4.99.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
For renting or to buy?
I think to buy.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so go find those on Amazon.
Mhm.
Edward, thanks for hanging out with us, man. We'll
Thank you.
definitely do it again.
Thank you.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tim, are you going to end Babel?
I mean, do you think time is just an abstract thought? If you think what you're thinking is not what you thought,
He'll just do this for a minute and then
sometimes you
I'm
ride a
gonna go turn the
pumpkin
camera off.
through
I'll
the
be right back.
forest and you're like, gee willikers, if this pumpkin isn't going fast enough, where am I going to go? And then you think the bean sprout isn't tall enough, but the pumpkin was. So remember, fight the pumpkin, save the dragon.